Hi, guys. So we're finally down to the very last chapter of Because of Winn-Dixie. And I've been reading through your summaries and thinking about your predictions. So we're going to be able to confirm some of those predictions. And I think the biggest one was that many of you were kind of torn as to whether or not you thought India Opal would finally get to see her mom. So we'll find out if that happens in the last chapter. Okay. So just follow along as I read. So we're going to read chapter 26 today. Outside, the rain had stopped and the clouds had gone away, and the sky was so clear it seemed like I could see every star ever made. I walked all the way to the back of Gloria Dump's yard. I walked back there and looked at her mistake tree. The bottles were quiet. There wasn't a breeze, so they were just hanging there. I looked at the tree and then I looked up at the sky. Mama, I said, just like she was standing right beside me, I know 10 things about you, and that's not enough. That's not near enough. But Daddy's going to tell me more. I know he will. Now that he knows you're not coming back. He misses you, and I miss you. But my heart doesn't feel empty anymore. It's full all the way up. I'll still think about you, I promise, but probably not as much as I did this summer. That's what I said that night underneath Gloria Dump's mistake tree. And after I was done saying it, I stood just staring up at the sky, looking at the constellations and planets. And then I remembered my own tree, the one Gloria had helped me plant. I hadn't looked at it for a long time. I went crawling around on my hands and knees, searching for it, and when I found it, I was surprised at how much it had grown. It was still small and it still looked more like a plant than a tree, but the leaves and the branches felt real strong and good and right. And I was down there on my knees when I heard a voice say, "Are you praying?" I looked up. It was Dunlap. "No," I said, "I'm not praying. I'm thinking." He crossed his arms and looked down at me. "What about?" he asked. "All kinds of different things," I said. "I'm sorry that I called you Stevie bald-headed babies. You and Stevie bald-headed babies." "That's all right," he said. "Gloria told me to come out here and get you." "I told you she wasn't a witch." "I know it," he said. "I knew it all along. I was just teasing you." "Oh," I said. I looked at him close. It was hard to see him good in the dark yard. "Ain't you ever going to stand up?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, and then he surprised me. He did something I never in a million years thought a Dewberry boy would do. He held out his hand to help me up, and I took it. I let him pull me to my feet. "I'll race you back to the house," Dunlap said, and he started to run. "Okay," I shouted, "but I'm warning you, I'm fast." We ran, and I beat him. I touched the corner of Gloria Dump's house right before he did. "You shouldn't be running around in the dark," said Amanda. She was standing on the porch looking at us. "You could trip over something." "Oh, Amanda," said Dunlap, and he shook his head. "Oh, Amanda," I said too, and then I remembered Carson, and I felt bad for her. I went up on the porch and took hold of her hand and pulled on her. "Come on," I said, "let's go inside." "India Opal," Daddy said when me and Amanda and Dunlap walked in, "are you here to sing some songs with us?" "Yes, sir," I said, "only I don't know that many songs." "We'll teach you," he said. He smiled at me real big. It was a good thing to see. "That's right," said Gloria Dump, "we will." Sweetie Pie was still sitting in her lap, but her eyes were closed. "Care for a litmus lozenge?" Miss Franny asked, passing me the bowl. "Thank you," I told her. I took a litmus lozenge and unwrapped it and put it in my mouth. "Do you want a pickle?" Otis asked, holding up the big jar of pickles. "No, thank you," I said. "Not right now." Winn-Dixie came out from underneath Gloria Dump's chair. He sat down next to me and leaned into me the same as I was leaning into my daddy. And Amanda stood right there beside me, and when I looked over at her, she didn't look pinch-faced at all to me. Dunlap cracked his knuckles and said, "Well, are we going to sing or what?" "Yeah," Stevie echoed. "Are we going to sing or what?" "Let's sing," said Sweetie Pie, opening her eyes and sitting up straight. "Let's sing for the dog." Otis laughed and strummed his guitar, and the flavor of the litmus lozenge opened in my mouth like a flower blooming, all sweet and sad. And then Otis and Gloria and Stevie and Miss Franny and Dunlap and Amanda and Sweetie Pie and my daddy all started to sing a song, and I listened careful so I could learn it right. So believe it or not, guys, that is the end of the book. She does not get to see her mama. And I know the first time I read this book, I was heartbroken because I was so sure, because she just wanted to see her so much throughout the whole book. I was so sure that she was going to find her, but I think the moral of the story is that she didn't really need to. She can think about her, she's going to learn more about her, but she realized that she has so much love from all of the friends that she made that that's keeping her content and happy right now. Okay, so your job for today is to think about the character that you think changed the most and explain how. So up here, these are just the headings, but underneath you'll write which character you picked. Think about what things they did in the beginning. So here you're not going to write character traits. You might say in the beginning they did, and maybe you talk about like specific things they said or how they acted, just like their behavior, how they changed, how they acted in the end that was different from this time. And then in this last one, this is where you're going to write 3 different character traits that you would choose to describe how they act now. Okay. After that, you have one more job. It says, which character can you relate to the most and why? So when I say which character can you relate to, just think about which character kind of reminds you of yourself. And then give 3 examples as to why. The directions say to write and complete, sentences. So you might start by saying, I can relate the most to maybe Stevie Dewberry or India Opal because she does this, this, and this, and I also do this, this, and this. Or Dunlap does these things, and I also like to do these things. So you're going to think of which character you can relate to the most and why. The last thing that you'll have to do is just a flip grid where you will have to record yourself just explaining what you thought was your favorite part of the book. So I know it's been a while since we started the book, so you might forget some parts, but I think that a lot of you already have some favorites picked out. So I'd love to see which were your favorites, and then, make sure you click on other people's videos so that you can see which parts they like too. Okay. All right. Can't wait to see your work today, and happy Friday.